Hi all, and welcome to a CX Moment. This is a new series from Zendesk where we sit down and have a very casual conversation with leaders in customer experience. For at least the first few episodes, we're going to tackle some of the business issues that you're all facing due to COVID-19. And we're going to talk about things like spikes in support volume, concerned customers, and the challenges of moving teams remote. This is meant to be interactive, so ask your questions in the Q&A, and we're going to get to as many of those as possible. And we're going to try to bring this series to you weekly, so hang in there, please, as we're going to announce who's coming up next. I can say that we're going to have Ali Rail from Slack chatting with us on April 23rd at 11 a.m. Pacific. So please register for that. In the meantime, I'm Sarah Reed from Zendesk, and I'm here today with Jeanne Foley and Diana Ganz, the co-founders of the Groomsman Suit. Now, ladies, to set the stage, the wedding industry in the United States is a $74 billion business, which I assume is partly why you got into this business. And since COVID-19, 50% of weddings have postponed, with upwards of 10% probably canceling. And those couples who are attempting to reschedule later in 2020 are finding their dates already booked in. And so in essence, your industry has come to a screeching halt. Is that about right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, unfortunately, that is correct. Yeah,
that is our reality. Every day we're hearing from couples that are having to postpone or, indefinitely cancel their weddings. It's so heartbreaking.
And I mean, I know not everyone who is listening today is in the wedding industry, but I would expect there are plenty of industries going through very similar things right now. So,
oh, absolutely. I mean, across like travel, everything, if you're, there's really no type of industry that's untouched by this.
And in a way, that's really been comforting, right?
Yeah, sadly.
You're not alone. You can't sit there and feel sorry for yourself too long because we're all in this together. And so we all have to just figure out a way to work through it.
So your company is called the Groomsman Suit, which by its very name is all about happy occasions, people celebrating together. So how are the two of you actually holding up with all this?
Well, Jeanne and I have been through our fair share of ups and downs with this company. I don't think we've ever had a year where it was like, wow, that was just a great, easy year. There's always been one thing that has defined our year, whether it was like selling out of everything we had in 2018 and not being able to supply the demand to our, having major, fulfillment issues in 2019 that we've now worked through. And like, we were just so looking forward to 2020 because we really had it figured out. We were like, our inventory was in, we have the best fulfillment center. We were fulfilling like super fast. And then now we have like, our sales have plummeted by 80%. So it's just
80%. Been. And how quickly did that happen?
I mean, pretty much in the span of a week, I would say we went from having the most epic year. 2020 was the year to get married. It is, because of the number of the year, people were just kind of waiting and securing venues well in advance. And so, we had prepared for that. And we had launched a new prom brand. And that is virtually dead because schools are closed and we're not sure when they're going to reopen. So it's been just unbelievable.
My stepson, who is 17, had his prom canceled, and like everyone else's, and it was honestly really devastating for him and his friends. He's a senior in high school. It's his last prom, and this was something, that they were really looking forward to. I would expect you're getting tons of support interactions just like that. How are you guys handling these, these calls, these chats, these interactions with your customers who have gone from being so celebratory to now being in essentially crisis mode?
Yeah, we address it sort of like how we always do, which is whatever's best for the customer. We try to be there for them. Weddings in general can have an element of stress, right, for everyone involved. And so we're good at dealing with that. And so I feel like we're very well equipped to deal with customers in general. And so it's no different than any other day. We, you know, are empathetic to what they're going through. We try to help them in any way they need, whether that be a quick and easy return, holding onto their items for a longer period of time just to wait it out. So really we do whatever the customer needs, as always, and we figure it out from a business perspective on our own. You know, the customers we try to just make it easy and stress-free.
Have you had to change the way your support team, have you trained them differently over the last few weeks to make them, you know, perhaps, I know they've always been empathetic, but perhaps, you know, just to have a slightly different reaction to, you know, the customer when they come to them with a concern?
Yeah, I think it's just about we just have eased up on everything, right? So the message is really just do what's right for the customer, whatever the customer requests or needs because of the situation they're in. We go above and beyond. But, you know, Zendesk has been an incredible tool for us yet again, because it's very easy to create messaging that the entire team can use and not have them all sitting at home without immediate access to somebody that they're sitting next to at the office like we normally have. And so they all really have the tools that they need to answer these questions that we haven't maybe received before, and answer them consistently. So no matter who gets these inquiries, we feel very well equipped with the tools that we have through Zendesk to really, you know, serve our customers the same way we always have while we're all working remotely. So it's really been great.
I know one of the changes you've had to make is moving from in-person consultations. You know, I see that you're in your studio, and couples used to be able to come in and try things on and select, you know, the color that they wanted or the style that they wanted. They don't get to do that right now. So can you walk me through how you've adjusted that piece of that very important piece of your business?
Yeah, so we quickly, I mean, we're a digitally native brand. We were born online. You know, Jeanne and I, when we launched this company out of our apartments in New York, we actually never expected to have these beautiful showrooms. Now we have 3, one in Philly, one in Chicago, one in Denver. But
and
you know,
even to open up several more this year?
Well, that's the $1 million question right now, because we're now completely reevaluating our business model. Like I said, we were born online, and we have sort of gotten pulled into some more physical showroom, like brick and mortar. You're hearing everything about, you know, online retailers backing into brick and mortar, and that was sort of where we thought our path was going. But this has made us really get back to the core of what our business is, and that is to conveniently, reliably, and affordably suit up individuals, men and women, across the country for weddings online without ever needing to go into a showroom. And so, you know, we quickly pivoted from our physical showroom locations to creating these virtual experiences with our customers. A lot of people are at home right now, and they have the time. If their weddings are later in the year, they have the time to do some planning. And so it's been these virtual showroom appointments have become really popular. And it's kind of funny because Jeanne and I are the only ones on the team with this setup that's like acceptable. So, you know, we're the ones that are doing the appointments, and like you get customers online and they're like, oh my God, you're the co-founder. I watched your video about virtual showroom appointments. And you're like, that's right. We are getting back to like the heart of, you know, the business. So we've talked to couples from, you know, the East Coast to Hawaii on these virtual showroom appointments. And it's so cool because it's allowed us to expand beyond. I mean, obviously our website always allowed us to serve couples beyond our physical showroom cities. And we ship, you know, across the country every day, but now we're actually getting to meet with people and work with them and talk about their wedding style. And it, in a way, like having these appointments too has given them something to look forward to. You know, in a time of crisis, having something to plan like a wedding is really like, fun and like stress relieving.
Are people coming up with creative ways of still getting married?
Well, what we're seeing right now is like mostly getting creative with the dates that they're getting married, because there is, like I said, 2020 was the year. So if you're trying to still get married in 2020, you are having to select days like a Monday or, a weeknight, because even like the Thursday, Friday, Sunday days are taken for the fall. But you know what? We have been very positive with our customers about that, and like, good for them. Pick a date, because let me tell you, by the time the fall comes, by the time we get out of this, people are not going to care if you're getting married on a Monday. They're going to be ready to party every night of the week. And I'm always like, you better save up for that bar tab, because that bar tab is going to be much higher in like, 4 to 5 months, because we're just going to be so happy to have something to celebrate every day of the week if we can.
You touched on something interesting in that, while your team is all set up, to answer questions for customers remotely, they're not necessarily set up to have these consultations at home. And, I think that's something that caught so many of us and so many companies a little off guard. It's that, yes, you can have the right technology, but maybe your home setup, you might be living with, several roommates, or now that your kids are home, and perhaps these things just, aren't possible. Was that, was that a big realization for you? How surprising was that it's like, oh, like, we're going to have to do this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting at home right now. This whole thing got put together in the matter of like a weekend, because, the shelter in place happened, and I had, I hung these pictures. I went to Target. I got that shelf. Like, it's actually, I mean, it's not hard to set up your own area. The key is lighting.
Yes, it is.
Finding that like natural light that you can kind of put yourself against, and then just creating even just a very clean, simple backdrop. And so I think actually people would be surprised. Most people could figure this out at home. We don't have a huge place. And so, but I've carved out this little corner of an extra room and kind of made it my own.
And I think like in this situation, it almost, and you see it on social media a lot, like funny moments happen, and it's okay. It makes you feel more connected to these people, right? So it doesn't always have to be super polished. And even on these consultations, these couples are just sitting on their couch and their dogs and cats are running around. Yeah. It's fun, it's like, oh, that's such a cute little, person. It actually exposes some realness to life, that sometimes in more of a corporate workspace environment you don't get. So I think we're flexible with that. And if these virtual fittings are taking off rapidly for us, we have them every day. And as time goes on, we have more and more, which is very comforting to us as a business, because we realize couples are still planning. And while right now is a difficult time for weddings that were supposed to happen, weddings will still happen. So it's just a matter of time. And, we feel confident our team, no matter their setup at home, could do these and represent the company well, no matter what the backdrop really looks like. So, we'll see how it goes. But for now, we're comfortable with what we have. Yeah.
I love that you are taking the approach of you're actually getting to know your customers a little bit better than you've ever had the opportunity to do before. And you're really embracing this concept of, their entire life, they're coming to you for something, really, it is a celebration, but it's also very, very stressful for them. And, you're helping to alleviate that. We have a question from Stephanie from the Thai bar, and and she wants to tell you how much she loves working with you all, and and wishing you guys the best of luck. It sounds like you've done some work together in the past. But she's curious, if you've noticed a change in your volume, and have your customer service inquiries gone up, and or your appointments?
Yeah, so we love the Thai Bar. Being headquartered in Chicago with them has been just a real blessing, and that was actually one of the sad, heartbreaking parts for us. Is we had 3 pop-ups with the Thai Bar planned for end of March and 2 in April. We have been popping into some of their stores in DC and Boston and New York. And so, we had to cancel those, and we were stacked with appointments for those that we were now trying to convert digitally. So virtually, we have seen a drop in customer inquiries. Sort of people are kind of have become silent a little bit. You can tell that everybody's just trying to figure this out. And something that might be a little comforting to us is, our website traffic has dropped virtually in half or more, by maybe even 60%, which tells us that couples have just put some planning on the back burner. When we are hearing from customers, it's, for later weddings, or it is because they're rejiggering their current wedding date and asking us about our return policy of what they have now. Kind of one of the funniest questions we're getting now is what if my suit doesn't fit after this COVID crisis? Because let me tell you how much snacking I'm doing at home, And so we're just keep the tags on. And so there are some very similar questions that we're getting, but I would say overall, our customer volume has decreased.
And which I think some of the people who are listening today, that is unusual, depending on the type of industry they're in, they're probably seeing a pretty dramatic rise in inquiries. Out of curiosity, and this actually also comes from someone who's listening, remind me again, what your support channels are? Chat, email, phone, obviously the consultations, but how do customers actually reach you?
Yeah, so we we have chat, email, phone. So we use the whole support system, the Zendesk support help center. We've made some updates to our help center page to address this. So those are sort of the standard ones that we're getting. We have various funnels on our website too that help bring customers in and guide them. And then I would say we've been proactive about sending out emails, immediately. I mean, Jeanne, you can share, you created this beautiful email that we sent out to customers.
Yeah, I mean, just like every brand, we created an email that sort of gave an update on, just to bring comfort to the fact that if you do have an order with us, our fulfillment center is still fulfilling, thank God. I mean, how thankful we are for all of the shipping companies and fulfillment centers that are still moving, because everybody's still able to test us out, shop us, So yeah, we just set up various email things, but honestly, customers are just still reaching out just like how they normally would, through our website, and then coming into Zendesk, whatever they're comfortable with, whether that's email, chat, or phone. We're still answering the phone just like we would normally, and people can still reach out to us. We're still here for them. All of our employees, thankfully, we're keeping them on, and we plan to weather this storm and just keep getting prepped for the really strong fall wedding season, honestly.
Which raises an interesting point. How are you going to prepare for this, what I would anticipate is going to be a pretty big onslaught, of requests that are going to come in as soon as people realize oh, hey, I can go ahead and book my wedding. I can invite people again. This is going to happen. What are you going to do?
I think honestly, I know this is a Zendesk call, but Zendesk gives you the tools to do that. So it's just going to be getting those auto replies ready, understanding. Well, I have a feeling we'll start to feel the growth, right? So, you just gauge what the customers are asking and you build the tools to answer those consistent questions faster, whether that be update our frequently asked questions, our help desk, that kind of thing. We can act so quickly based on, having these tools. We can comfortably say it won't be a problem to have a surge. In fact, we welcome it. Please.
Yeah, I would say the girls at this point are like, if we have to work overtime until the end of the year, we've kind of all said, we're going to do everything we can to keep everyone employed, but understand that like when this surge hopefully happens, we're just all going to be all hands on deck and be really grateful for the business. The other part of this too, which is, a little bit more technical, is just supply chain management.
Right.
And I think we feel very fortunate in that we have really good manufacturing relationships. Our supply chain is very strong. A lot of retail brands really suffered, even in December to January when this was starting to happen and they were producing in China. They got really jammed up with their production, which before sales even started to slump in the US, they were having trouble just fulfilling orders in like January and February. We didn't have those issues. Our factories have been unaffected. And so we, right now we're feeling what everybody's feeling is the sales, but what will be interesting later in the later half of the year is like the surge, and how can brands now that have had to scale back their manufacturing accommodate for this surge in demand. And we've kept our production as planned, and we're going to have a surplus of inventory, but that's okay because we deal with weddings and like we have no option but to get our customers what they need when they need it. And so if that means carrying a little more inventory on hand, we'd rather be that way.
So you're taking the risk, knowing that the reward is waiting on the other side. This is an interesting question that came in. And first, this woman, Melissa, just wanted to say she's someone who had to postpone her wedding. And so she so appreciates everything companies like you are doing. But she also works as a CX manager for an e-commerce company. And one of the things that her company is considering is these surprise and delight, or these what can they do for their customers, to give them some, that hope, that appreciation, for hanging in there. Are you guys thinking of doing anything like that?
Well, yeah, actually we've been working on ways to keep people excited, planning, showing them like sort of the silver lining to all of this. One big thing we did was, going back to the Thai bar, we partnered with a lot of amazing brands that are going through the exact same thing that we're going through and put together this incredible giveaway. So we just thought, how fun would it be for people planning weddings right now to have the hope that they could win this ultimate giveaway where they get, $3,000 worth of suits and dresses and fun things for themselves and for their groomsmen and bridesmaids, and something to look forward to. So we've had that a really great giveaway going on. It's going on it ends tomorrow, but we've had an incredible reaction to it, honestly, which again, not only is great for our customers and something to look forward to, but is comforting to us because as brands sort of waiting for this shift in sales to go back to what it was, this is such validation that things will recover, and that people want it to recover. So it's just a moment. So that's one of the big things. We're also writing a bunch of articles just to help keep our customers and people who follow us on social media thinking about the positive stuff, and giving them information from all the professionals that we work with. We work with so many wedding planners and people who host events regularly, and listening to what they're saying and what they're recommending, and then compiling it all into helpful articles. Even a few weeks ago, we did a "Should I Cancel My Wedding?" Because a big thing for businesses before the stay-at-home order came through was what am I supposed to do? No one's telling me I should close. Is this a health risk for my employees? Some businesses were closing, some weren't. So brides were going through that on their own level. Like, am I making this a personal thing, and am I risking my family's health because I have been planning this for a year, and am I being selfish, right? So they needed the same tools that businesses needed to understand, what should I be doing right now? So we wrote a helpful article about that. A lot of couples were doing a virtual ceremony and then saying, I'm going to have this blowout party when things calm down. So that's fun. And then helping them look at the bright side to, like, you have more time now. Work on those DIYs. Every bride knows I committed to too much DIYs. No,
yeah, and I think too, one of the silver linings for people who may have like decided to go with a rental, shameless plug, but now you have time and we're still a small brand, so not everybody knows about the Groomsman Suit, and so we have some time to get in front of those couples that might have, I wouldn't say make a mistake with a rental, but had an alternative suiting option that maybe they can get out of and provide, go with a company like ours where the guys can actually keep their wedding attire for the same price down the road. And that's a huge benefit to be able to, everybody needs a suit, especially nowadays when, job interviews are probably going to skyrocket and like job searching. So.
Well, it sounds like, keeping that communication open, ensuring that your customers know, what you're doing for them and what their options are is certainly, one of the top priorities, I think, for every company. And then also doing the same thing for their employees, making sure that everyone knows, some of the changing processes and changing policies that you may have. In our last minute, how are you keeping, your employees up to date? How are you keeping them connected? How are you making them still feel like, they're part of all of the decisions alongside you right now?
So, one of the blessings, and I feel fortunate with this, and Jeanne and I share a similar management philosophy and we've gone through fundraising rounds. It's not like we haven't raised, money, but we've always maintained a very small, very lean team. And so we only have 9 employees. And when everybody's working remotely, managing 9 people, versus like 50 people is much easier that way. So we're all in great communication. We have our, text, and we have regular meetings. If anything, our headquarters in Chicago can be a little chaotic because it's where all customer service is happening. You get 6 women together and, it's just crazy. So breaking us out of that has allowed for us to focus on major initiatives that are, that have been on the back burner for the company. One is like buffing out Zendesk Sell. We have really loved getting and using it, and now we're like totally taking it to the next level by, now with these virtual appointments too, connecting it to our calendar scheduling, like automatic reminders, having it integrate with our Shopify store. So we have like various initiatives that certain people are working on, and we do this, we meet virtually, and then the time that we're not talking, we're working independently, and we're actually able to get a lot more done. So it actually may change how Jeanne and I restructure the office in Chicago, because it's not super.
We also just like empower each of our employees. So everyone, because it's a small team, everyone has like this very valuable role. And we sort of leave it to them to think of creative ways that we can keep this thing going, right? So it's not just myself and Diana dictating, hey, you're going to do this today, you got to do this, you do this. They're bringing great ideas. Even this giveaway was our social media manager's idea, and it's been huge for us. So we just listen to the team. We leave it open for their ideas, and we ask them to just do it, you know, move fast. So
yeah, I've been impressed with them too, because they have taken it upon themselves to even like learn new skills, like take Excel training classes, take Instagram marketing classes, like on their own. You know, they'll say, well, I have this training that I signed up for, and I'm like, ah, good for you. Yeah, it's been really nice.
Well, and I think that's great advice, no matter how large your organization or how large your team is. You know, this is an opportunity for many of us, you know, to strengthen our teams and to strengthen those bonds with our customers. And I'm so appreciative that you took the time to share your story with us today, and so appreciative for everyone who joined us today. Unfortunately, that's time. We have many more questions we could have answered, and perhaps we'll send those out on social media so that people can actually see a few more of the questions and answers from the Groomsman Suit. So to learn more about the Groomsman Suit, please check them out, for all your celebratory needs. And right now that could potentially just mean date night, at home while you're in quarantine. I'm sure they will be happy to outfit you in something fabulous. And, please connect with Zendesk and the rest of our community, because we certainly appreciate you spending the time with us. We are again going to try to do this every week. And so please, check us out and join us next time for a CX moment. Thank you all very much.